Hello, everybody. I'm sitting on the front porch. It's a mess, but I'm on the front porch. I thought I'd let you know that eventually I'm going to do Porch Time Lives again. Working on it. A lot to do. There's just been a lot to do. I've been gone 2 years. Got back just a week less than being gone for 2 years. So, men just don't do things like women do. So it's a little bit of a mess, but I was sitting out on the porch taking a break. Look at me. I was so sweaty. It was 80 degrees with 60% humidity. It was every bit as hot as it was yesterday at 85 degrees with 66% humidity. Well, now and you may be able to hear the thunder in the background, we've got a big storm blowing over. And about 45 minutes ago, everything got cloud covered. And if you live in the world at all, you can tell, about what your temperature is when you walk outside. Well, the temperature has dropped. The humidity has dropped. I am no longer sweating. Everything's cloud covered. There's a nice little breeze. You can hear the thunder off in the background. We're getting ready to get pounded with a rainstorm. So, I've been watching these weather channels for a while, like I do the moon and the sun, but the weather. And I'm not quite sure I have ever really mentioned to you all that I watch the weather apps and know how they lie. Well, so it was 80 degrees, 60% humidity. It was every bit as hot, if not hotter, as it was at 82 degrees or 83 degrees. I'm not sure what it was yesterday, with 66% humidity. Ethan and I went to the farm, and all we did was spray for spiders. That's all we did. And there was a small tree that had fallen over the driveway, and he's got a little tree trimming little chainsaw that he thinks is just a kid's chainsaw. And of course I was there and helped him hold the little tree and cut it in pieces, and that's all I did was stand there and hold that little tree. He walked around the building and sprayed the outside. I went in and sprayed the inside. We pulled the shower tent thing off the front porch to set it out in the front. That's all we did. My hair was wringing wet with sweat. My clothes were wet. Today I came out, 60% humidity, 80 degrees, sat on the porch, broke out in a sweat, and had to go inside. Now we've got the clouds. Let me see if I can walk out here and let y'all see, because I think I can hear the rain coming. There's no sign. Let me see. I can't. Yep, there's the rain, getting raindrops. See those clouds? And it's moving in that direction. It's not quite there, but the raindrops just started. This is very, very comfortable. Very comfortable. I mean, this is nice. Sit on the porch, enjoy yourself temperature. So I checked the weather app. The weather app says that it's still 80 degrees, and instead of 60% humidity, it's 66% humidity. There is not a drop of sweat on me anywhere. Do they think anybody that really watches this pays attention? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, you can like her, you can hate her. I'm really not one way or another, about old Marjorie. Oh, and I did get my tripod, but I didn't want to go unpack it just to do a short video giving y'all a little bit of a taste of what we might cover a little deeper in my next live, which very likely might be a Porch Time live. But anyway, she wants to make it a felony for any tic-tac-toe to be drawn in the skies. It has been reported and proven that there was seeding 2 days prior to Texas. There was seeding prior to North Carolina. And she called it all out. She called all of it. The trails, the tic-tac-toe, the seeding, the chemicals dropped in. MSM has lost their minds. Now, if you watch any channels at all, and you want to go do the research yourself, you can find the patents for everything that has been put in. Saw a video the other day that the ones that fly lower, private planes, they get paid $500 a container for that crap they spray. So, of course, they're, what is the root of all evil? The love of money. So they don't care what they're doing. There was no Alzheimer's when I was growing up. There was no ADHD when I was growing up. There was no childhood cancers and diseases as there are when I was growing up. But now, after these years of this crap, there's all kinds of things. Well, now MSM is painting Marjorie Taylor Greene as a lunatic for wanting to put this bill on the floor and make anyone a felon with jail time. And I forget exactly what the fine was, but it was like $100,000 or some craziness. It's huge anyway. And is painting her as a lunatic and talked about the conspiracy theorists on TikTok and YouTube that have been talking about this conspiracy for years. The patents are there. They don't file patents for no reason. You can look up and see. You can sit and watch that line be sprayed. And you can go out in 30 minutes and look at that line and it's spread gray. Sprayed white, but spreads gray. You can go out 30 minutes later and it's whiter. You do that every 30 minutes to an hour and sky's gray, and then here comes the rain. I wasn't out. I didn't look up that apparently it's been sprayed somewhere. I don't know if I've talked about, all of our lives. We talked about, that the weather that came off the Pacific and got in our jet stream. I spent 10 months in Washington. Right 2-minute drive from Puget Sound. There was no storms that came off the Pacific Ocean. Now, on the west, where I lived, there was no spraying in the last 2-3 months I was there. And there was no spraying at different times. But now, there was stuff that would come down through Canada in the rainy season. Those states have a rainy season, like we have a snowy season. I'm sorry I look so bad for y'all. But anyway, I'm still tired from that trip. But anyway, those storms that hit our jet stream are sprayed on the eastern side. Right about the middle. I could see some of them, but you would watch them push off to the east. So what they were spraying in Washington is what got hooked up in the jet stream. Would go up into Idaho, and then it would dip down. I watched it for 10 months. But now she's a lunatic. No such thing. No spraying, no seeding, no nothing. She's a lunatic. So anyway, I hope and pray that she stays on this bandwagon and she stops this. Trump had even said in his campaigning he was clearing up our skies. And then he gets in office and he don't mention it anymore. RFK Jr. mentioned it, campaigning. He hasn't mentioned it anymore. But anyone that wants to call Marjorie Taylor Greene a lunatic, all they have to do is look up the patents for this crap. So she doesn't tend to be one, and that's what I do respect about her. She's like me, she's a little spicy, and she doesn't tend to be run off of whatever it is she's fighting for. I hope she wins this battle for our health's sake. I am thankful for this rain. Don't know where it came from because I hadn't been out and looked up. But, well, let me take that back. I was out one time and I looked up and it was the white puffy normal. I think I mentioned, but not everybody watched my drive lives or videos crossing from the west coast to the east coast. You know, that was the week we left, a full week before the weekend before 4th of July. Because I didn't want to be traveling the weekend before 4th of July or the weekend after 4th of July. And we crossed all those states. Of course, it rained in Washington and Oregon, which is normal. They always get rain. And then we cut across California and went into Nevada and Utah and Iowa, I think, and Nebraska and Wyoming and Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and I know I'm leaving somebody out, and I apologize if I've left out your state that we crossed, but just off the top of my head, I hadn't prepared and just decided when I got so cool, and then I looked at my weather app, and the humidity had gone up, and the temperature had stayed the same. You know, it's almost 10 degrees cooler. Seriously. But anyway, that entire trip, and we took 9 days. And we went from one end of the state to another. We were on I-80. You can look up I-80 and see, you know, how it cuts through the states. There was not one. And we left at different times. Sometimes we'd leave at 10 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we'd leave about noon, 1 o'clock. We'd stop. We would stop before dark. So we were always in a motel, usually by 7, 8, 9 o'clock at the latest. Usually around 8. Because I like to take a lot of breaks. But we saw a lot of skies. And in the Midwest, you can look for miles and see the sky. There was not one streak anywhere. But weren't we expecting maybe some retaliation of some kind? I could be completely off target. But, I mean, it was just so blatantly obvious that even Ethan started saying, "Nanny, there's nothing in the sky." I'm thinking those chemicals and the cloud cover had absolutely something to do with our defense systems. Because don't you think it's awfully odd that and then we came home on the 9th day. So we got here on the 9th day. No spraying here. Ohio, as always. CJ has lived her entire life there. She has always reported about that tic-tac-toe crap. Nothing. I swear I think it has to do with our defense systems. They needed those skies clear. I could be wrong. Just my hypothesis. Just my working hypothesis. I don't know, based upon the patents I have seen, based upon, and I was trying to educate somebody on those, and happened to be in Roanoke 2 summers ago, where we had moved, and was sitting out having a smoke in the backyard, and I looked up, and here come a jet. So I took a picture of this little moisture. It's heat moisture in the cold air, and it was 100 degrees that day. And they say that it's just because the jet has such hot air, and it's, cooler air. And it was low. It was low. It wasn't 40,000 feet in those cold temperatures. So I took the line and I sent it to somebody that really wasn't a believer yet. And I sat out there in that heat. 15 minutes later, I took another one. 15 minutes later, I took another one and sent it. 15 minutes later, I took another one and sent it. I did this for 15 minutes, every 15 minutes for an hour and a half. I went in to cool off because the heat was just too much. I went back out in an hour and I took another one and sent it. I said, now you tell me how you can argue with that. He had no argument. None whatsoever. So anyway, I might get a little deeper in this. I don't know. Maybe just wanting you to know my opinion for what that counts for. Who knows what my opinion counts for? Might not count for anything. But I did want to tell you that I am back on this porch. Went to the farm yesterday. Hadn't really spent any time there in 2 years. And, if you leave something set, it's a mess. And let me tell you, that's going to be a job. Trying to clean it up and put it back together. We sprayed for spiders and stuff yesterday. And I cleaned off the front porch. But animals had been on the porch, and I left my tablecloths on everything, even the round patio table. So it is Prime Days on Amazon, and I got a really good deal on the tablecloths I need to replace because animals have just ripped them, and it's just been a mess. I gotta get up there with my 9M and show these animals who are boss and run them off, because I gotta get chickens back up there. I'm getting my beauties back. But I'm going with a whole completely different brand. That's a whole completely different video. But anyway, I just wanted you to start noticing. Start checking your weather app. Start walking outside. And see what you think. I remember it's probably been 4 years ago now. I was on the phone with Homegrown, and it was 16 degrees outside, and it said the humidity was 96% at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, but start paying attention and let me know if you've noticed, or if you start paying attention. Come back to this video and comment to me. If you have a thermometer on your porch, check your thermometer, and I've got one at the farm, but I don't have one here. Check your thermometer against your weather app and see what your temperatures are. It's never right. I don't know why, other than what is up is down and what is down is up. And I don't believe a word of anything we're told by anybody. Nobody. In places, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about in places that tell us things. Don't believe a word of it. One last thing. Watch what you're watching on YouTube. AI is so sophisticated now. Can y'all hear that thunder? It's a beautiful sound to me right now, because I didn't see any stars and stripes in the skies. I saw natural clouds, so I'm hoping that for once this is the natural. But I'll be out with my headlamp tonight looking to see if anything's flying around. That hasn't even been. We even checked that. And those little particles, I mean, I did a video on that. Go back and look where you could see the particles flying by the light. But I will check it tonight and see if this had anything in it. But I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. But I don't know if I'll get deeper and do this on a Porch Time Live, or if I just want you to, I've given you my opinion. I've given you the short and sweet of it. Now you can do yourselves a little bit of, gosh, it's already been 20 minutes. I'm running my mouth. Do yourselves a little research. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a lunatic. No, she's not. We know she's not. And compared what she was saying to the conspiracy theorists on TikTok and YouTube. Look up the patents, for Pete's sake. I mean, it is to the point. And I might forget, and I don't know if I've ever told y'all or not, but I did find the information where the WEF World Forum tells the AP what they are to report. And the AP sends that report to all other mainstream media news agencies. And when I saw that, I thought that was the craziest thing. How could they get by with that? Well, back then, I had cable and was a big Fox News watcher. Go figure. Well, I started noticing anything that came out just reported by the AP. Just reported by the AP. They didn't have anybody calling in, any reporters anywhere reporting anything. Everything new, every breaking news was just reported by the AP. So that was true. I watched it on other channels. Just reported by the AP. So that's true. So that's who determines our news. Might get into a conversation about Elon. I don't know. There's so much going on that is, you just reach a point, y'all, that you just have to laugh. Say your prayers. Know you're right with Jesus, and just laugh. But I do need y'all. I need to get back and do a live. I had my reasons for doing a video today that I'm not going to share. But I didn't want to bother my mods today. But I am going to get back to my Porch Time Lives. This has been difficult for me being here because, my son passed May 24th last year. We buried him June 3rd because our coroner's office supposedly backed up. And then I was in Roanoke and I had to be gone Monday through Friday while school was in, and we came back on the weekends. And then I'm not sure exactly. I think it was about the 25th of August we left, moving to Washington. Well, I had happy pictures that made me smile to look at and give me happy memories. Well, here is where all of the memories are. And I catch myself getting ready to do things that I would have done for him. So Ethan and I got sick as soon as we got back, and we were exhausted. So I rested and slept a lot. I wasn't up real active doing anything and getting in any habits that I had been in, and didn't pay a lot of attention that first week. This week's been very hard. And I'm not going to do a live until I know that I can be happy for y'all. And I've got a couple of friends that have situations going on that hurt my heart. And I'm praying very hard for those two friends. So it's been a bad week. And I don't want to end this depressing, but that's why you haven't seen me. Ethan and I were sick as a dog the day after we got back on Saturday evening from CJ's. And man, was I glad to see that West Virginia sign. Holy cow. When we came from Roanoke and we saw the West Virginia sign, we had to go around the curve, and as we ended the curve, there was that big old West Virginia sign, and me and Ethan would go, woo, we were always so excited. But we got to do it every week. I hadn't seen that sign in 10 months. And let me tell you, that was a beautiful sight. That was a beautiful sight. Ethan and I had fun on that trip. He got to see a lot. I didn't kill myself driving like I did going out there. Did it in 4.5 days and did it in 9 days coming back. But that middle route is longer than the northern route. So that makes a difference too. But I want to make sure that I can get my head and my heart in a right place. So if y'all remember me in your prayers, I would appreciate it. Just that I have strength. Just give me strength to be strong for my friends, to be strong for Ethan, be strong for myself, and to be happy and come on here and make y'all happy. So I'm not sure I'll do a Porch Time Live this week. But listen, I wasn't planning on doing a video. You know how I am. Y'all know how I am. Lord, I'll do something and forget to let my mods know. I don't know how many times I've done that. And God knows I have good mods and I love my mods like family. So I'm very blessed to have the mods that I have. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you kind of keep an eye. Excuse me. Changing pollens, man's killing me. Because I have seasonal allergies bad. Always have my whole life. But anyway, pay attention. Keep up on what's going on with old Marjorie Taylor Greene. Give her a little support. Call her office and say, we agree. And be smart, girl. Don't just be sassy and spicy. Because this is going to be my phone call. Don't just be sassy and spicy and look like you're, all of a sudden an expert on the topic. Bring up the frickin' patents. Show them. That's all she needs to do. How's mainstream media going to argue with the patents in writing? Hold them suckers up. And then, can they say you're a lunatic? But anyway, that's all I had to say. I love y'all. I have missed you. I have missed sitting on this porch talking to y'all. It won't be as long as it has been. Let me put it that way. So, until next time, don't be scared. Just be prepared. Have that heart prepared. If you don't want to sit down and read that Bible, turn on Homegrown. He's part of our family. Loves us. We've got Shannon, King James Version Bible. She's doing Tuesday and Thursday night and Sunday night trivia. Homegrown is releasing books on Sundays to his members, which I am one. And he is releasing it to the public on Wednesday. So if you don't want to sit down and read, relax and listen. But get your heart ready. Make sure you're where you need to be with Jesus. Because we don't know from minute to minute. We do believe that it is the end of the age. And other than that, not even the angels in heaven know when Jesus is coming back. But you always want to be prepared because you never know. Nobody plans to take their last breath at any point. So anything could happen. Anyway, on that note, I love you and I will see ya soon. Bye.